Welcome everyone at Sherry Carroll for another STAMPtember exclusive reveal. Today I'm working with Aall Create, and this stamp set is called Winter Bells. It features some really cute illustrations that I just adore. And to start off, I'm going to start with this long tree that you can put on a card. Also this cute little duck that is holding a bell. There are some presents that can go on top of this adorable truck and another set of presents that can go on top. There's also a lantern so you can build a scene. And down at the bottom is this adorable girl with her little puffy pigtails and her cap, also Noel, and a set of birds with very festive glasses and hats. So this is a 6x8 stamp set, clear, and on the back we've done something special for you so that you can have a guide on how to color your images. This stamp set makes for a very fun and festive holiday season. We've also created some dies that go with every piece of the stamp set, and these match perfectly. There is the large truck, and inside you'll see some of the small pieces. But you can set these on top to see how they fit, so you'll be able to stamp, color, and die cut all of your images. To get my card going, I am using my MISTI with my stamp and stencil mat. I have placed my paper down, and that is some watercolor cardstock on the smooth side. And I'm going to attach the stamp to the door and get this started for some stamping. I'll be using the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink since I'll be doing some watercoloring with the Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. So I want to make sure I get this well stamped up and get all those intricate and delicate lines. And then using the door of the MISTI, I am just pushing this down really well, and then I can reveal the image and I'm ready for die cutting. I've aligned my die and I'm using the Simon Says Stamp Low Tack tape, and I'm going to tack this truck die down in a couple spots so it doesn't shift while I'm die cutting. And then I can do the same thing with the tree that I've also stamped, and I can run this through the die cut machine as well. I'm going to start doing my coloring, and I've sped this up a little bit so that we can get through a lot of it. But I'm using the Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. I use a few different techniques while I'm doing this. You can wet your paper down and then color onto your paper, or you can color onto your paper while it's dry and then use your aqua pen or a wet paintbrush to soften up your color. I am going to mix in some colors. I'm going to move from the right to the left, and I am doing some regular blue on the outside, that's faded jeans, and then I'm moving this peacock feathers next to it. So I'm going to move into finally a green on the left side. The one thing that I really love about using these pencils is that I can blend these colors in and just add fine touches of color here and there. So right now I'm blending in the peacock feathers and mowed lawn that's on the left side. I do want to make sure that I have all those lower edges really dark so that it looks like it's shadowed. Now I'm going to start adding in some highlights and different touches of color by grabbing some color with my wet brush onto the tips of those pencils. Here I'm just going on straight on with fossilized amber, and then I can go back in with my aqua brush and soften that out. Using the pencils is a really fun and quick way to add many colors onto your projects without a fuss and mess of watercolors. Now that my coloring is done, I'm moving on to my card construction, and for that I'm using the Simon Says Stamp A2 acetate card, and I'll also be using the Falling Snow stencil on top. This is a fun technique to try. You can do some stenciling on top of your acetate cards as long as you use a permanent type of paste or also stays on. So I'm going to tape this down so that it doesn't shift while I'm doing my stenciling. And I can turn it over and start stenciling using a palette knife. The paste that I'm using is the Tim Holtz Snowfall grit paste, and it does have a bit of glitter in it. It's a little bit translucent once it's dry, but it really dries hard and permanent. And for my dismount, I'm going to grab just a bottom portion of that acetate, and I'm going to peel away the stencil and the tape from off the side, and now I have the snow on the front of my card. You'll want to set this aside until that paste is completely dry so that you don't smudge any of your snow. So next I'm going to work on the portion for the inside of the card. I've cut some Audrey blue cardstock to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to place this tree just from the top and then letting it hang off the bottom, and I'll trim that off later. To attach this down, I'm going to use my Simon Says Stamp Dot Runner adhesive, and I'm just going to add a couple stripes onto the back of the tree. And then I can position this onto that panel. And once I have that in place, I can flip this over and trim off the overhanging piece. I'm getting ready to put my panel inside the card, and to adhere this down, I'm using the Simon Says Stamp RIFIC tape, and this is the 1/4 inch size. And I'm just doing little pieces on each corner of that panel. And to get started, I've removed the backing just of the 2 top pieces, and I can align this before I stick it down in place. And next I'm going to be using some foam tape for my truck, and I'm using the Simon Says Stamp roll of foam tape. I love this because I can cut long strips for any of the sizes that I need, and it cuts really easily with our everyday scissors. I've removed just the center piece of the foam tape adhesive, and I'm going to set this down, and once I have it positioned how I want it, I can press it down so it attaches over that snow paste. And next, for my messages, I've cut a sentiment strip, and this is from the STAMPtember collection from Simon Says Stamp, and it's Merry Christmas with a really nice writing. And I do love the white writing on black, and I'm just going to add some foam tape. I've cut this wide enough to where I can add this foam tape right to the back side for a perfect fit, and I can snip off the excess at the side. And once I've removed the backing from the sentiment strip, I can make sure that I align this onto the card, and I'm sitting this just under the tires of the truck. And once I'm happy, I can go ahead and press that down in place. So next I want to remove the rest of my foam tape, and I'm flipping this over and just grabbing that top portion, flipping it over again, and grabbing the bottom portion of the truck. This is how my card looks as it is right now. The next thing I want to do is to flip this over and remove the backing of the panel that sits inside, and then this will tack down perfectly. So when I have this card open, there is a place to write my message on the inside, and just by using that Audrey blue paper, it makes it easy to write your message. This was a super fun card to make. I was really taken by this truck, and I really loved using those pencils to get a lot of different color blended in between. I love this Aall Create stamp set. I hope you're enjoying your STAMPtember. I have all my supplies listed in the description box below, plus a link to our blog post with additional inspiration. And as always, thanks so much for watching.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.